Yep, I'm live. Right on. Okay, folks. This this stream, believe it or not, I didn't actually do what I normally do, which is make sure I'm getting all the notifications out there for everybody. So I set up live stream. It is going to be broadcast to the five platforms, same as the last one. So X, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and Odyssey. And normally I go through the whole procedure of getting all those links, doing everything like that, and then sharing them on my, whether it's on the Facebook page or the Minds page. Today, rather than doing that, I just basically just put going live in 15 minutes, and I'm just going to see. This is kind of like a little test here, just to see, what's the difference in how many people actually get the chance to see the stream. At least during the stream, right? There's always more that come after the fact, but during the stream, just to kind of get an idea or gauge, how many notifications actually go out, or are the people that typically see the stream, is it because I'm the one that giving them the notifications? But anyways, like I said, there's a lot I got to cover in this video. Did a little more tweaking on the setup here. Still not done by any stretch. I'm still learning. Actually, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. It's like, wow, it's just like a needle in a haystack these days. Like everybody and their dog does podcasts or live streams these days, right? So there's no shortage of information out there on the old interweb to give you tips or tricks or ideas in terms of how to set up, your cameras, your microphones, your lighting, and all that stuff. And the lighting is the one major area yet that I still have to work on, and that's going to happen here. I just got to wait for a little while, make sure I got enough coin, because I got to spend a little bit more money to get the lighting set up. But from what I'm gathering, especially with this new camera that I got, once I get the lighting set up and ideal, for my setup, then things should be much, much better. Anyways, but thanks a lot. And before I get into all the insanity, and yeah, there's lots. I mean, what else is new, right? I mean, basically, I could do a live stream every day pointing out insanity. And there were some times in the past where it seemed like I was doing that during the whole COVID thing, right? Well, it was at least every other day at bare minimum. It was just a nonstop thing. And I'm really glad that I did that, because covered a lot of great information, helped out a lot of people, including myself, right? Anyways, I just want to check a couple of comments I see here already. By the way, too, I don't know. I would just like someone, if I can get a chance, to be watching my live stream on X, and maybe put a comment out there. If you have the X app on your phone or your device or whatever you're watching on, be nice even just to maybe pop on over there and check out how it all looks over there, and maybe type in a comment, say, this is a comment from X. That way I'll know, because apparently I'm supposed to be able to get the notification of that, but we're still way down low in terms of the amount of people, it's single digits, that even get to see the show on X. But anyways, so let me just check here. So R.I.P. Gonzala Lyric. Should I know that name? If I should, I really apologize. Pound Atlas. I just call you Pound Atlas because, as you know, I've tried to figure out what your username is. And it sounds, LB is the short form, the acronym for pound, and Atlas Shrug kind of thing. So I'm just going with that. I don't know. Just going with it. But yeah, whatever the rip, Gonzalo Lira, well, RIP. I'm sure I'll find out at some point in time who that might be. But anyways, thanks for joining the stream there, Pound Atlas. Kevin Hayes. Boy, that name sounds familiar. I know another Kevin H., Kevin Hearney from Royal Distributing. Great guy I used to work with. Anyways, I'm not sure if it's the same Kevin or not, but thank you very much. Nice to have me back, Kevin. So we've definitely been, so I recognize the name. But anyways, thank you very much, Kevin, for joining the live stream. Really appreciate it. Oh, by the way, before we go any further, if you folks wouldn't mind, do the old like thing, and if you haven't subscribed already, and maybe even share this with a couple other people that might be interested in hearing what I got to say as well. But anyways, thanks, Kevin Hayes. Really appreciate it. Gato, man, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, long time no see. Howdy. Nice to see you're in the chat, Gato. And like I say, we got lots to cover, but there's a couple things we're going to be covering that's actually not even in the description. Tell you the truth, I got to thinking, and maybe you folks can even give me some feedback here. If I'm just predominantly, and a lot of times I do, right? especially when I go on like where I'm covering a whole bunch of a plethora of news events or things that are happening, around the world or in particular in our country. But rather than trying to come up with all these descriptive, you know, um, topics or labels that I put on these streams, maybe I could just do, um, what's in the news for, and then the week of, put that what's in the news for the week of, and then the Liberty angle, right? And then maybe just name the other ones that are specific to a particular thing, right? More or less a one-off kind of a live stream or something like that, and name them, directly to whatever the topic or subject matter that I cover. Anyways, just thinking it loud. But thanks for joining the live stream there, Gato. I can check it out. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. Don't mean to put you to work already, but like I say, I like to know how all this stuff goes, because I can see things on my end, but it's hard to know how things, like, it's just for, because that's the other thing too. I'm functioning with a desktop setup. Obviously, it's going to be much different than like a mobile device or something. But anyways, okay. Thank you very much, Kevin. I really appreciate that. Right on. He was a U.S. journalist, died. Oh, that guy. Right. I do know who that person is. And yeah, that was a shame. Well, you could even see when the guy that he recorded that last video when he was heading for what was it? One of the borders there. One of the other countries that borders. But anyways, yeah, when he was headed for the border and trying to get into that other country, you could tell that guy was like, although I gotta admit, fairly calm, cool, and collected considering, right? But yeah, you could tell he was worried. You could see it, and obviously, as we're learning now, for good reason. And yeah, that's an absolute shame. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Pound Atlas. It's an absolute shame. And yeah, all for telling the truth, all for offering up something at the very least, right? And this is the problem, right? People who are willing or courageous to stand in defiance of whatever the dominant narratives, no matter if you're in Ukraine, Russia, Canada, the US, anywhere around there, Iran, the Middle East, lots of places, any of these places, if you're willing to challenge the status quo or the ruling establishment, you're placing yourself in a dangerous and precarious situation. And people that are willing to do that, mad respect for them, even ones I don't agree with. I will always, give credit where credit's due. But yeah, I think you're doing a summary of the important stuff in the news is a great idea. Well, thanks, Gato. Thanks. Well, that's kind of the thing where I'm trying to go with it, right? Is at least and bring, that's why I call it the libertarian or the liberty angle too, is right to talk about these stories, but bring that philosophical and ethical lens to the equation, right? So help people, because that's the thing. Everyone's taught these days to think in terms of the us versus them, the left versus right. Whereas me, like I say, and why I challenge people on both sides or all kinds of ideologies is no, I just want to teach my brain, right? And anyone else that's willing to listen, how to think critically about these things, and to start from first principle, the basis of first principles, philosophical concepts, right, and ethics in particular, because ethics is it's huge. I mean, that is literally what separates us from the state of nature, is bringing the ethical lens to these conversations or to these stories. Anyways, thank you all, and really appreciate it. Now, first, like I say, before we get into it, there's some stuff on X that I shared. I'm just going to bring them on there now and kind of go with them as we go up through them. So I started back a little bit further down on my X stream. And yeah, by the way, I will point out, you'll see that as I go up too, that Javier Milei, apparently over there in Davos, what is everyone going to start accusing him now of being a WEF puppet? Well, if you get a chance, and I haven't yet, but I will be, if you get a chance. Oh, I see Ian Crossland. He's from Timcast. He also a guy from Minds as well. It's hosting right now. Looks like it's Spaces, as you can see over there on the right side. But anyways, yeah, Javier Milei apparently had his say over there, the WF, and there's someone else that had a little bit something to say we're going to get to as well. But this is something now, like I said, context matters. No doubt, context really does matter. But for this little video here, I'm just going to show, And kudos to who is the gentleman? Shit, I got to think of the name. Actually, it's the same guy, Sean Rickard. Shout out to you, Sean Rickard, for doing what you're doing in terms of holding some of these goons to account, and in particular that bald-headed RCMP officer that was that assaulted and framed, basically set up Menzies. Well, that's weird that all went complete blank over there on the right. Did you all see that? You might also where did this all go? But anyways, the guy that basically set up David Menzies and tried to charge him with assault. I mean, that's the thing with these cops. And you've probably heard the expression, bantered around a few times, and I've used it myself. All David Menzies did was in contempt of cop, not respecting his authority. These people act as if they fucking own you. Like, at least when I was small, now it's a long time ago, right? So 4+ decades. But at least when I was younger, most people, the adults in the room, at very least, at that particular time or junction, or they were just, I don't know, just spewing bullshit and they didn't believe it or not. But I was at least led to believe when I was a kid that, people in government, the public sector, the politicians, cops, right? All these people that work for the government in some capacity, they all, at least it seemed like, understood that, yeah, we're your employer, fucker. We're in charge, the people, But things have completely flipped upside down to the point where, like I say, we literally live in this situation, not figuratively, not metaphorically, literally live in a situation where these fuckers think that they have the right to rule over us, to completely dominate and control us in so many areas of our social and economic lives. And like that alone should be enough to cause people to be up in arms. But anyways, let me just show you this here, folks. Yes, it's still on the screen. Okay.
You wanted to come down here and shake some hands and pose for your photo ops.
Anything smart.
We're going to make sure people know who you are.
20 years in the federal government.
You cannot go anywhere in this country, Mr. Trudeau, without the people finding you.
I helped create the sex offender registry that you should be a part of. You should have to register as a sex offender. You are a sex offender. You should have to register as one.
That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Excuse me.
Please stop my path.
Excuse me.
Stop my
Get out of
my
here.
path.
Excuse me. Are we being detained? Are we being detained? And if so, why? Am I being detained? Am I being detained, sir? Am I being detained? Am I being detained? What's your badge number? What's your name? Am I being detained? I need your name and badge number. You just put hands all over a woman. You gave no command. You impeded our progress. What is your name? What is your name? You put hands all over a damn Canadian citizen.
So there's just another example once again, right? And I believe that Sean Rickard's actually doing his diligence and trying to find out the name, because that's the other thing. Yes, these people don't even have these people. Fucking, well, I guess they are a person. He is a person, right? So, right? But to not even have the willingness or the courage to identify themselves, right? That's a major thing. And you got to remember, when the Trudeau Liberals sent in their goons during the Emergency Act to target peaceful protesters, the Truckers for Freedom or the Freedom Convoy folks, you see them all out there lined up, not just with their fucking weapons of war, right? Great big fucking bear cats and fucking huge, I don't know if they were semi-automatic or automatic rifles, but, to go against peaceful, and of course, all dressed in body armor and fucking gear. I mean, literally look like they're getting ready to go to war. And I mean, a real serious fucking war, but no, they were just going to what? Target peaceful fucking protesters. Like, that's the fucking insanity of this stuff, right? And not one of them, all of them, covered. So you can't see who the hell they are, and no names or no badges, right? That to me, absent, and think about any other situation where you got a bunch of goons, all holding weapons and targeting people that are completely disarmed, who are just protesting the fact that they lost their ability to have a livelihood or to provide for their family. And this gang of fucking mindless enforcers, or any gang, think about any gang that come up to you all full of weapons and trying to intimidate and bully you. Anyone in the fucking world would be saying, no, those are the bad people. But the power of statism, the power of indoctrination, the power of constantly teaching kids from the time they're little kids that, oh, the police are your friends. They're there to protect you. They're your saviors, right? That, for fucking decades on end, jammed into people's head, has allowed the overwhelming majority of citizens in this country to allow just unbelievable amounts of fucking bad things to happen to good people, all under the pretense of law and order, right? Which is why, yeah, not a big fan of the fucking left, like the liberals and the end dippers and shit, but definitely no fan of those boot-licking fucking goddamn conservatives who seem to love the cops so much. And that's the other thing, especially the conservatives. Trudeau is in charge. Your opponent, but yet your order followers, your enforcers, hey, hell, some of them might even be fucking family members, but they'll do Trudeau's bidding for a paycheck and a pension, right? Sickening. Anyways, let me move on, because yeah, that one topic alone, especially the mindless order followers, yeah, that just it really brings out, you know, a lot of anger from me, because I've seen, like I say, not just seen, but experienced myself, for fuck's sakes, right? I know with personal experience, just like my son, and you folks have probably heard these. I know with experience just how fucking mindlessly corrupt and evil some of these people can be. And so willing to use any bit of a power that someone has supposedly granted them, right? And use that power to just, like I say, bully and intimidate anybody. So let me just get up here. Now, this is actually something I wanted to bring out too. Like, this is, like, the facade is completely been pulled back at this point in time. They're just blatantly admitting now. This is that Rachel Maddow. No, I'm not playing these things to get you triggered, folks. We're going to be all right. But, you know, this is obviously after Trump won. Big fucking time, Trump. That's kind of why I'm wearing this. I call this my Trump tie. Right? Red and blue one. He's got one kind of just like it, right? But I mean, the man that not just has the best chance of becoming the Republican nominee, but a very real chance of becoming the next U.S. president, right? But to not even allow his remarks or his speech to be aired on, just because you don't like him, you fucking stupid fucking, you know, this mad out thing. You know, maybe there might be some people in your audience, but the good thing about these idiots, think about how this works. This idiot thinks, oh, if I just try to suppress or hide, right? Like, what, you going to fucking try to Ron Paul Donald Trump? Good luck on that. You know, you could Ron Paul, right? Pretend that he doesn't exist. Well, I mean, you know, all of us who were following the 2008, 2012 elections and saw how the establishment media treated Ron Paul. And I mean, not just MSNBC, CNN, but fucking Fox News, all of them, right? Which is just goes to show anyone that challenges the status quo, you'll see that's where both the left and the right-wing media will kind of circle the wagons to at least a degree to try to, you know, stamp you out or tamp you down, especially if you're popular in any way. And Ron Paul was definitely getting popular at the time, which is why they really attacked him. But yeah, you're not doing that with Trump. Trump is a candidate of a different breed entirely than anyone we're used to or familiar with. Even just the man's resolve of all the shit that they're putting them through. I mean, that alone is like, holy fuck. No wonder they call the guy Teflon Don, right? And even people that may initially or for years have been taught and trained not to like him, you know, the ones with the TDS, right? Trump derangement syndrome. Even some of them you just got to expect these days. You're like, fuck, man, that guy's fucking awesome. He's like those thing when you're a kid, you know, you had the sand in the bottom, you punch it, falls over, and then it bounces right back. That's fucking Trump, right? Anyways, let me just play this video here.
Just have to do a little bit of business just for a second. At this point in the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses has just started giving his victory speech. We will keep an eye on.
You mean Trump? You mean Trump, Rachel? Trump. Say it. Say Trump. Say it. It won't hurt you.
That as it happens. We'll let you know if there's any news made in that speech, if there's anything noteworthy, something substantive and important. The reason I'm saying this is, of course, there is a reason that we and other news organizations have generally stopped giving an unfiltered live platform to remarks by former President Trump. It is not out of spite. It is not a decision that we relish. It is a decision that we regularly revisit. And honestly, earnestly, it is not an easy decision, but there is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things.
Yeah.
That is a fundamental truth.
Yeah, the cost is, we might lose, some of our loyal supporters and viewers to the Trump tribe, to Team Trump. We can't allow that. We saw how that played out the minute we give the guy any chance to air what he's got to say. No matter how much we try to insult the man, it seems like, his voice seems to resonate with people. And, well, we can't have that, right? That's basically what she's saying. Oh, shit, man. That's it. Anyways, I'll bring that one back.
Of our business and who we are. And
yeah, our business and who we are. But aren't you supposed to just be there for the people, right? You're reporting for the people. Isn't your job to act on behalf of the people, right? Whatever. Anyways, no, only some, only the half of the country or so that agrees with me. The other half, what? Probably in total, if you think about it, 100 and some million. Don't worry about that. Yeah, no. That's 100 some million people, though, that you're acting like that just don't mean anything. And you're insulting them constantly. And don't you realize, like, this is a fucking, like I say, no self-awareness, no reflection. It's like, do these people not realize that you're literally, or is this a psyop? Are they all doing it because they all just love Trump? Because sometimes you just got to question that, because, I mean, I guess it'd be easy to attribute incompetence, idiocracy, right? That's a very good plausible explanation, because, and if it is, well, you'd think at some point in time they would learn, but actually I'll just shut up now because I don't want them to learn, because it's working out great. Keep doing what you're doing, Rachel. Anyways, I actually, talk about the Rumble thing. Yeah, I want all of I've got 1,400, as you folks know, around 1,400 videos and live streams. And yeah, even on Rumble, because they're supposed to sync it. So I'm supposed to have all of my stuff now over on Rumble. And actually, it's only about 400 of them. So there's still 1,000 more. But yeah, hopefully Rumble and was it Chris Pavlowski? I think it's the guy that the CEO runs it. Hopefully they get to the bottom of that kind of nonsense. But anyways, let me just go up here a little bit. Oh yeah, and this Income War Tax Act was getting some pretty good traction there. Oh, that's that cop there, right? Okay. Moving on up, AJ. Another one of my. I love AJ Alan Jackson. Big fan of Alan Jackson. That's why you're seeing that there. Anyways, yeah. And yeah, I'll even play this video from Andrew Lawton. Actually, no, it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I won't waste too much time. But basically, yeah, these people that come up with these ideas, right? His company was develop an individual carbon footprint tracker to monitor what you eat and buy and where you travel. I caught up with him in Davos, and now he says it was just not. So basically, not only did this guy seemingly just want to keep running away from Andrew's questions, all he did at least answer them. I will give him that. But yeah, when Andrew called him out on that shit, they were like, "Oh, it was just an idea." I think the Davos elite, I think they're fucking starting to see. I don't know. I think they're starting to see the writing on the wall, right? And that they are going to be the targets of a lot of irate and pissed off citizens around the world for what they've been trying to do and what they continue to try to do. Or like I say, the people can put the fucking fear of God in these people if they would just stand up. George Strait, another good guy. Anyway, so yeah, let me play this one a little bit. Actually, and shout out to Rupert Supermania. We had a little back and forth with each other, and I'm really glad to see that Rupert's doing well, and sticking to her guns and not shying away or backing down. Because even a great woman like herself and a great reporter like herself has unfortunately seemingly got caught up in the whole identity politics and religion nonsense. This is the thing, right? This is the fucking problem, right? People on the left and the right, they'll throw you under the bus the minute they get a chance, which is why you got to really be careful of who you surround yourself with, right? Maybe keep a little bit of an arm's distance until you get to know who they truly are and if you genuinely can trust them or not. But I mean, we're seeing time and time again where this is taking place. And in particular, there's a couple things that the right wingers now these days, or the people that claim to be centrist or anti-establishment, are now even themselves, being useful idiots or at least playing into the whole identity politics bullshit, which to me it's a great and a sad thing. It's a great disappointment and a very sad thing. Anyways, just listen to this stuff. Let me just play this here. Let me just play this, folks.
For the global business community, the top concern for the next 2 years is not conflict or climate. It is disinformation and misinformation.
The top concern, not even climate and all that shit and conflict, right? No, it's misinformation. So once again, just like with Klaus, ooh, them anti-system libertarians. Like I say, just like back in the day when the fucking cops and the courts and all these, when they decide to fuck with me, it's a thing that people don't realize. Some people, when you fuck with them and they see that and perceive that with legitimate fucking reasons and logic, that you're using the full force and might of the state to bully, intimidate, and fuck over just an average. And like I say, I am just an average person. But fuck, I'm relentless. When you fuck with me, yeah, I will never stop. I will never stop. Now, once again, I'm not using violence. I'm not going to retaliate in violence because that'll just play into their hand. I will not do that. And I have beautiful teachings and the ideas of Jesus and all kinds of things that roam around my head and the kind of understand about, playing the long game, right? And but think about it. Years ago, especially people in Canada, and I would talk about libertarian. They didn't even know what the fuck the word libertarian was. I'm sure even people like Klaus Schwab didn't have a whole lot of clue, right? But a whole lot of people, whole lot of tyrants, whole lot of control freaks, whole lot of sociopaths, whole lot of statists. Boy, they fucking understand that term now, don't they? Why? Because we have truth, the right ideas, and the courage to stand in full defense of them all. Right? That's the power of ideas, and that's the power of having the courage of your convictions. Look at what our ideas, look at what we are doing. And yeah, you better believe we're a very, very small minority in comparison, to some of the other ideologues and their minions, right? But once again, when you look out there on the landscape and you see who the people are, who each individual is and what they represent as a person, what they bring to the table, whether they're the voluntarists, the libertarians, the anarchists, the anarcho-capitalists, the free market proponents, right? The anti-establishment types. And there's more and more, the ranks are getting filled up more and more, right? And then you look at who our opponents are. Yeah, there's a reason why we refrain from violence. Well, there's a multitude of reasons. But one, yeah, I wouldn't bring violence to a fucking 98-pound weakling that I know I could easily dominate for the same reason why I would never bring violence to these fucking inept pieces of shit. Right? Don't have to. Not in the slightest. Because these people, they pretend, they put on a good show, they puff themselves up, they pump themselves up, they get lots of people to parrot their message, but at the end of the day, weak, incompetent, and inept to the nth degree in comparison. Just keep that in mind, folks.
Followed closely by polarization within.
Basically, if you look at it, it's a bunch of feminists, particularly, dominantly, the ones that are driving the collectivist train, right? With a bunch of beta, loser, very effeminate, or very old men backing them up, right? That's what we're up against. A bunch of fucking feminazis with some very, very weak, inept, and cowardly men at their beheads or as their lapdogs. Yeah, sorry if I'm just not too overly worried or concerned if things actually get to the point where there's genuine conflict or that they're going to be able to suppress or silence all of our voices. Good luck on that, because all I see is a big giant F on every one of these people's foreheads, and that stands for fail. That's the only thing they seem to be really, really good at. Oh, and stealing, being conniving, stealing. And they're really good liars. I won't, downplaying the fact that they're really good liars. But then again, sociopaths, it just kind of comes, it's part and parcel of being a sociopath, right?
Our societies. These risks are serious because they limit our ability to tackle the big global challenges we are facing.
Yes, it limits their ability. Like in the past, when there wasn't the internet, the information age, and our ability in social media and our ability to have our voices heard, when they could be the sole dominant voices out there, especially in particular during the cable or radio days, when they could completely dominate everything we see and heard, it was much easier for them. Boy, they could probably sleep a lot better at night, these central planning elitists, right? Nowadays, they just got to, and what it is, that's this lady acknowledging, until we can, silence and suppress voices like Bennett or others, then we're in a whole lot of trouble here. Right? Yeah.
Facing. Changes in our climate and our geopolitical climate, shifts in our demography and in our technology, spiraling regional conflicts and intensified geopolitical competition and their impacts on supply chains. The sobering reality is that we are once again competing more intensely across countries than we have in several decades. And this makes the theme of this year's Davos meeting.
Oh, they're competing rather than all collaborating. That's a good thing. Competition good. When everyone's monopolizing, collaborating together, especially if they're all going against we the people, we don't want that. So competition is good, but not for people like her or Klaus Schwab, right? Anyways, folks, I'll bring this one off here. Let me, because I got a lot of stuff I wanted to cover here. And actually talk about the Trump and Vivek. I think that's coming up here now. Oh, by the way, Mr. Beast is now on X. That's pretty cool. All right, here's another one. Oh no, that was a different one. Let me just scroll up here a little bit longer there, folks. We're almost there. Oh, here. Oh, yeah, here's another one. Yeah, here's another one. Actually, let me play this one here, you folks. So listen to this. This is the CEO for the Center for Democracy and Technologies asked on a World Economic Forum panel how to force social media companies to ramp up online trust and safety. Here we go.
So we're in this bizarre environment where right as the threat.
But I mean, think about it. How dare you or anyone else ever suggest, even subtly so, that there are a bunch of elitists that get together, whether it's annually or periodically, to sit around and figure out and conjure up ideas and how to dominate and control the rest of us, right? What the immediate reaction from some people by even daring to suggest that this is happening, which it actually is happening, right, is you're a conspiracy theorist. I mean, if that isn't fucking a pure and blatant example of gaslighting a human being, I don't know what is, because they're literally sitting there and doing it. And all you have to do is just sit back and listen, watch and listen.
Threats are ticking up. The investments in actually doing the day-to-day work of online trust and safety for our information environment is being scaled back and is under attack. And those are all things we need to recalibrate right now to try and address the threats this year.
And just quickly, how?
Yeah, so we have to have the social media companies keep up the work. There are really important lessons.
Is there a way to force them to do that, push them to do that?
Is there a way to force them to do that, push them to do that? You see? Oh, but once again, it would be a complete conspiracy to suggest that there's a bunch of elitists sitting around in a place called Davos, Switzerland, conjuring up ideas or trying to figure out ways, how could we force social media companies to do our bidding, right? To silence and suppress the voices of people like my fucking self, right? But, once again, how dare you suggest that, Bennett? You conspiracy theorist. Where's your tinfoil hat, man? Right? Fuckers.
You get them to places like Davos and you have them talk about the work. See?
What's the answer to that? How do you force them or nudge them or whatever into doing? Oh, you get them to places like Davos. Fuck. And like I say, how strange is it? I still, some days I feel like I'm living in a goddamn movie. How the fuck is it that these fucking feminists or these domineering control freak cunts and their beta male count? Where the fuck are all the men that are saying, listen, lady. Okay, first of all, sit down, shut the fuck up, bitch. No, but like, what the fuck, man? Where the fuck? Every woman in this fucking, on this planet, even if you're divorced and you've never had a husband, right? And all you do is fill your whatever with from a dildo. That's how you got to at least have maybe a brother, maybe an uncle, maybe a cousin, maybe a nephew, maybe a co-worker. There's got to be a man in your life somewhere, a neighbor, right? There's got to be a fucking man in your life. Why is there no men when whether it's this woman or a whole bunch of other ones that you'll see that are out there talking about this nonsense or seeking to control us or to dominate us? Where the fuck are the men that are out there saying, what the fuck are you saying, bitch? You better back the fuck up, right the fuck now. Where are they? Because in my household, in my community, in my fucking any world I'm living, I treat people, man or woman, with respect. But just like a man that wanted to come up to me, whether he took a swing at me or he said, I'm going to fucking try to control you through the government, man or woman, anyone says that? Like I say, well, the guy might be a little different reaction there, especially if we end up in some physical fucking space, right? But for a woman, you don't have to get physical in any way. But holy fuck, at the very least, speak the fuck up. Let that fucking chick know that, no, you're not going to fucking dominate me. But like I say, it's so weird. It just seems to be that there's a severe absence of men these days. Is it in the fucking water? I'm baffled on her anyways. But let me just continue playing this. And once again, anyone that's listening to this, yeah. Well, actually, I think I already clarified, right? I think I already put my disclaimers up there. So yeah, fuck it. Let's just move on.
Right now, because a lot of it sadly is in the staffing and decisions of companies, making sure they're putting in those investments, making sure that they're sharing information, that they're doing it not just for the US election, but for the other elections around the world. That has to stay a key focus, even if there is political pressure. There are important lessons that we learned after 2016, right? Social media companies learned about how you track mis and disinformation campaigns, what coordinated inauthentic activity looks like on a network, how you put breaks in, how when a rumor is flying, you get people to check whether or
just look at these men that are sitting around her, and I use that word, just look at these males, right, that are sitting around here. What the, not fucking one in the room, not one. Say, bitch, you fucking tripping. Not one. Not one. Like, holy fuck, man, oh man. What? I don't know. For one thing, I will say, is I could not live in their head or in their space, right? I would have pulled a bullet through my head long ago if I lived in such a beta cock fucking mindset and scenario in the world. Like, I just don't get it, man. I don't get it, but hey, whatever. But yeah, think about it. So they're talking about going back to the 26th. So we learned a lesson. We have to be able to control. They're scared to fucking death of Trump coming to power again. This is what this is talking. This is all this is, right? That's what, just got to read between the lines. That's really what it is at the end of the day. They're scared the fucking death of Donald Trump coming to power. And you know what? Rightfully so, but not for the kind of reasons that they'll put on. It's not like Trump's going to go full fascist and start fucking, no. But what it is if Trump can even do anything to free up or create some more freedom for Americans and let them run with that as they can, a prosperous society, right, without the restraints, and if Trump can, like I say, implement that thing when he even started back in the day where if you want to pass a law, okay, we get rid of 2. Unbind the American people, or even not just American people, but unshackle the American people, especially the freedom-oriented or liberty-loving folks in America. Just unshackle them a bit. And like I said, it's not even like you have to worry about them going to attack someone like this woman or the WF. No, it's just they'll create so much prosperity and make freedom so fundamental and important, right? As the ideas in particular. The ideas in particular, not the politics, but the ideas and shifting the culture. Although we're at least seeing that there's a healthy culture of liberty lovers and freedom fighters in the United States. So they still at least have a substantial culture of those kind of people. And just once again, all you really need to do is unleash them. Release the shackles and let them go. Because that's, I think, the thing that these people, these inept and incompetent parasites, and these people envy and resent success at the end of the day, or at least other people, not for themselves. But if liberties can succeed, if the ideas of liberty can succeed, if the economy can be more free, then these people lose all control, right? And be a lot harder for them to skim off the top because, like I say, people in the liberty movement or freedom fighters are looking at ways to make it so that, yeah, you can become prosperous without these fuckers even be able to skim any of it. Yeah, it's called Bitcoin and things like that, or stores of value like gold. So yeah, there's all kinds of ways that we can fight back against these central planners. And that's why they're so hell-bent on not just tamp down what they perceive as dis or misinformation, which is just fucking truth, right? But no, they're scared to death of like I say, how the politics are playing out, because I think they even they see the writing on the wall that the gig is up, or at least I hope so. Anyways, let me just bring this out of here. I think covered that pretty well. Oh, this, I don't know if it's true, because that's the other thing now. When it comes to stuff like this, it could be, maybe someone could confirm it. Jordan Peterson obviously fell for it, so whether it's true or not. But anyways, like I said, it very well could be. But this was nice. This was a great 18 seconds you'd like to see in
And
here.
I appreciate the World Economic Forum providing me the opportunity to be on this stage and say, fuck you, Klaus Schwab, and fuck your New World Order. We, the people, were born free. We will stay free. And you and all of your globalist friends, including everyone in this room, can go fuck yourself. And I appreciate the World Economic.
All right. Nice. Amen is right. Amen is right. Y'all got any more of them Javier Milei? You gotta love memes. Oh, here's another one. Once again, don't you dare suggest that there are people, sitting around trying to figure out ways. Anyways, I won't even bother playing this, but farming and fishing and making money is now called ecocide, right? Farming and fishing. Well, that's really kind of important for humans to sustain ourselves. Anyways, I digress. Oh, this was a good one. Yeah, this is good. Let me play this. So this was actually, I believe, the following day after Trump won, and Vivek that night is actually, I got to tell you, man, that Vivek, he's a really smart dude, man, really smart dude. And he seems to have that Machiavellian mindset, and he understands things really, really well. And yeah, he immediately dropped out and endorsed Trump at the same time. And and then announced that he was going on a rally stop somewhere. Might have been in New Hampshire, was it? Or I don't know, wherever the hell it was, anyways. But they were going on a rally together, and he was going to join them there. And this is obviously where that took place. So let me just play this. It's only a 45-second clip here. VP, they're saying. So yeah, this is in Atkinson, New Hampshire.
Wow, how was that? Pretty good, right? That was pretty good. And he's a fantastic guy. And he's really, he's got something that's very special, because he started off with a Zippo, and he ended up very strong. He did a great job. I was actually surprised when he called, because he was doing well. And it's an honor to have his endorsement. He's going to be working with us, and he'll be working with us for a long time. Thank you.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but that would be, think about it. That would be quite a ticket, right? To be honest with you. And yeah, of course, as a libertarian, listen, let me parse this stuff out first and foremost. I don't seek to have any rules. I don't need any requires. I don't require any rules, right? So let me just get that off the table first. Is for anyone that's watching the streams like, well, I thought this guy's a libertarian. What is it, Trump support? Well, I'm a realist as well, right? I just acknowledge it. This little dog and pony show, it's going to play out. We're going to have a ruler. America's going to have a ruler. Canada's going to have a ruler. We're all going to have rulers for the foreseeable future anyways. And yeah, if we're going to have rulers, and this is not a lesser of evil argument, this is just a simple that people are going to pick it, because it's not like I'm picking Trump, right? I'm not American. I'm not voting in it, right? So I don't really have any horse in the game per se, or sway one way or the other. But American people are going to pick it, and all it really takes for someone like myself is, who hates Trump? Who are the most vocal opponents of Trump? The deep state, right? The establishment, in particular the media, establishment politicians, whether they're from the Democrat or the Republican. Basically, all the people that we libertarians are completely against. The status, right? So, yeah, you just got to be, right? I mean, a guy like Trump comes along, right? No, he's not ideal. No, I don't expect that, liberty, 100% liberty is going to come to America's shore anytime soon. But it's at the bare minimum something that has the potential to greatly disrupt the status quo and the ruling establishment. And if that's what happens, what can take place at the end of the day, well, yeah, of course we libertarians, right, are going to be happy about a disruption to the status quo or the ruling establishment. It's kind of a good thing as far as we're concerned. Anyway, so I think, I think there might have been one or two other videos that I wanted to play. That's just, let's see here. Forget that shit. Oh, actually, yeah. Anyways, no, I won't even bother. So this is another one of those World Economic Forum videos. Anyways, CBDCs will be programmable. So yeah, so they can control and micromanage. But once again, even daring to suggest that, they're, central planners or governments are trying to conjure up a way to create a CBDC will get you the old moniker of tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists. But it's all right there, right? Anyway, so I'm going to stop that. And I'm not going to play too many more of those kinds of videos. Like I say, I got lots more I wanted to cover, and particular stuff that has, genuine Canadian context to it. So I will actually, before I get in, just check in on the comments there, just see how you folks are doing here. Uh-oh. I'm seeing Gato saying that the stream might be freezing. Okay. Yes, if you were walking on the sideway and some people were following me and screaming at me, I would expect the cops to, of course, Gato, because you're not, you're not the prime minister of the country who's trying to fucking, cause so much harm to so many people, right? This is a thing where you got to put things into proper context, and think about things properly. You are not Trudeau. Like, these people were yelling at Trudeau. You could hear them saying Trudeau, right? So, and Trudeau was obviously much further ahead. So just because you didn't see him, but these are people, right, following after elected politicians in this country who are supposed to be our employees. I mean, if you're foolish or stupid enough to believe that nonsense anyways, right? So, that's a big difference, right? Of course, if you as just a private individual is walking down, that'd be kind of weird, right? But then again, you didn't choose to become a ruler, right? Things are a little different when you choose to want to be a ruler over millions of people. Right? Anyways, but yeah. CIA Rachel. No, I'm not sure what that is. Is it just on my side, or is the stream creep? But the stream keeps. Well, I'm not sure, because when I'm reading those things, I'm actually looking at the articles, so I'm not seeing my actual stream here. But the fear of God, exactly. Yeah. Okay, on my side, excellent. Maybe you're just having bad connection or something there. Gato. Good day, folks. Hey, thanks for joining the stream, Darren Chica 442. Good day, folks. The climate change fiasco. No one mentions the arsonists and terrorists have a hand in helping. Oh yeah, well, we're seeing that. What was it 14 fires that one guy was charged with arson? I mean, we all know that there was obviously a lot of arson that took place, right? Anyways, let me just read a little more. Brainwashing is what they used to call it. Yeah, right. sort of like biological weapons are now called gain of function. Yeah, right, right. Oh yeah, you got to keep changing up the language, right? North of, hello, hello. Hey, that picture, is that from a movie or something? Hello to you, anyways. North of, good on my end. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I've been following you for a few years, I think, but first stream I've seen. Oh, awesome. Well, that's nice. Really appreciate that. Well, if this is your first stream, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to the channel, because I do these actually fairly regular now. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, really appreciate it. And thanks for joining the stream. Hey, Bennett, and all from Ontario. Right on. Hey, what's going on? Silent Knock, really walk. Really appreciate you joining the stream as well. So, anyways, let me get back into this. So here we go. So just to get this, covered, right? Because just like with the COVID thing, I like to get in early, cover this stuff just in case, because you just never know what's going to happen next, right? But yeah, this is something that I'm starting to see. Now, these are very early and only being, reported on by a few select establishment media outlets, right? But like I say, who knows where it goes from here? But I am seeing speculation and hype about this disease X being bantered around by certain people and some news media organizations. So let's just cover this. So this is the Independent right here. So they're out of the UK. World leaders to meet to discuss. Oh, let me make sure I'm getting a little bit closer here. World leaders to meet to discuss threat of hypothetical disease X pandemic in Davos. So over there, they're all talking about this shit next, right? Disease X is ranked as a priority for awareness campaigning by the WHO alongside COVID-19, Ebola, and Zika. So this is reported by Arpen Ray 16 hours ago. So that would have been yesterday, I believe. World leaders meeting in Davos for the World Economic Forum this week are set to discuss concerns about the potential for a future pandemic that could cause 20 times more fatalities than COVID-19, right? And I get it. People out there are already saying, and even a little part of my brain's like, the population's still too high, huh? Yeah, I still got to weed out a lot more. And you can't help but think that's the thing. I mean, not necessarily saying that it was specifically designed for that, but how well did it work out for big government, right? And these central planning types, that COVID-19 predominantly killed the weak and the vulnerable, aka the aged and elderly. The people who were on the receiving side, right, of government largesse, or that wealth and income redistribution scheme, right? For the longest time, these people were contributors. But, a lot of them, in particular, especially if you were a former government employee, right? That's another thing you want to think about this if you're a government employee, right? You fuckers, a lot of you get to retire at 55. That means if you live to 90, right? That's what, 35 years you can collect. You can sit on the dole. And it's all adjusted for inflation, like for defined benefits, or how that all plays out for public sector in particular. So yeah, you can do really, really well, right? Unless something happened and you died, and then maybe not so much. Maybe you're not going to be collecting those checks anymore, right? So there's that. And since we know that a large percentage of the people, what was it? This was years ago, so it's definitely grown by leaps and bounds now in terms of not just numbers, but I would assume even in terms of more women in the public sector. But I remember years ago when I reported on it, was 71% of all public sector workers were women. And since women typically outlive men, you can't even say, oh yeah, but if she dies, well, maybe her husband will. Chances are, for the most part, he's already dead, or like dead, long gone, or not anything. No one that's going to be receiving any of this, these benefits or entitlements, right? So, but anyways, once again, that's just me speculating. But yeah, if a disease X came out that could kill 20 times more people, and if it too targeted or made the vulnerable, the elderly, more susceptible to dying to this stuff, well, once again, boy, oh boy, that would greatly reduce. Let me think about it for the environmentalists. Boy, that would greatly reduce the carbon footprint there if you kill off a whole lot more people, right? that are using up all, whether it's their electricity use or, all these other services. And, when you're getting older and aged, in particular government services, you tend to using them a lot more than a young, healthy person too, right? So you got the healthcare thing, right? That's overstretched. You got the climate thing, the economics of it with the debts and deficits that keep growing because you have to keep paying out more and more of these entitlements to more and more people. Like I said, boy, oh boy, if that disease X did actually come to light and went through the world and killed as much as 20 more people than COVID did, there'd be a lot of very terrible people on this planet that would be secretly quite happy about that. Or at bare minimum, not exactly mourning, right? It's known by the placeholder name of disease X. And why X? Wouldn't it be, if you're going to do that, at least go double X, because COVID-19, right? So 2X Roman numerals would at least give you 20. So it looks like you're at least going ahead, right? But X? What the fuck is the X for? Oh, it's scary. Oh, is that because Elon changed the name of Twitter? He changed it X. And I heard, actually, I should have showed that video. Actually, it was one of the ones I was just scrolling up by, where a lady on the stage there at Davos, right? Ooh, Elon Musk, he changed the name of Twitter to that scary X. She said the name's X it's quite scary. What the fuck is scary about like X? Ooh, it's scary. X. Whatever. It's actually my favorite letter in the alphabet, tell you the truth. X. I love X. But it's funny though. But so that narrative they're trying to paint is X is bad. But they mean Twitter. But then disease X, well, that would be quite bad too, right? So just tie it all in together. Wonder if they had thought about that. Wonder if they come up with that during some of their meetings, right? Maybe someone got a big pat on the back. Yeah, that's a good idea, right? Of course, I'm speculating, but is it really that far-fetched, right? With the term used to refer to planning for a hypothetical future international epidemic caused by a pathogen as yet unknown to cause human disease, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. In a session entitled Preparing for Disease X, a panel led by the WHO chief Dr. Tedros will talk about novel efforts needed to prepare healthcare systems for the multiple challenges ahead if we are to be ready for a much more deadly pandemic, the WF said. The WHO ranks disease X as a priority disease in its awareness campaign alongside COVID-19, the Ebola virus, Zika virus, Crimean Congo, hemorrhagic fever, Middle East respiratory syndrome, and severe acute respiratory SARS. Disease X was added to the list in 2018. Oh, really? As the WHO sought to open up discussion about tackling a global pandemic in the future. So anyways, folks, like I say, I'll just moving along here, trying to get through these. And anyway, so I got 3 articles here. This one's out of Bloomberg. I'm not subscribed to Bloomberg, so I don't get all of it. I'll try to read what little bit I can here. So what is disease X? How scientists are preparing for the next pandemic. This is by Jason Gale, January 15, 2024. It sounds like something Elon Musk might have cooked up. Oh, look at imagine that, right? Disease X. In fact, the term was coined years ago as a way of getting scientists to work on medical countermeasures for unknown infectious threats, novel coronavirus like the one that causes COVID-19, for example, instead of just known ones like the Ebola virus. The idea was to encourage the development of platform technologies, including vaccines, drug therapies, and diagnostic tests that could be rapidly adapted and deployed in response to an array of future outbreaks with epidemic or pandemic potential. Anyways, I can't really read. I can read a little bit, but it'll get cut off halfway, so I'll just bring that off as well. Might as well close up that one and that one. And we do have one more. This one's out of Forbes. Actually, I won't even necessarily, well, yeah, whatever. Just bring it on for the heck of it. What is disease X? Right-wing circle slam hypothetical pandemic. This is January 11th, 2024. Right-wing circle slam hypothetical. I mean, come on. After fucking COVID and all the insanity, all the lies, all the fucking bullshit, all the mandates, lockdowns, right? The complete contradictions in the rhetoric they espouse. That's the fucking headline you're going to come up with, as if anyone, whether the right wing or anybody, what should not show any concern at all. No, just now we should just all forget about that, put it in the past, and just move on and go back to being our naive, ignorant fools, right? Is that what you're suggesting? Like, how fucked is that? With less than a week till the World Economic Forum discusses potential preparations for a hypothetical disease far deadlier than COVID-19 named Disease X, mention of the illness has sparked a firestorm on social media. Anyways, unfortunately, like I say, I can't read the rest of that because I'll bring this one on too, though, because I am not subscribed to them, nor would I really want to pay for their service, considering that's the kind of rhetoric they want to espouse. So this one is from True North, Andrew Lawton, who happens to be over there right now at WF. Actually, shout out to Andrew Lawton, and thanks for what you're doing, not just over there, but in challenging the status quo and the establishment in some way. Lawton, is the WHO's pandemic treaty a cover for government overreach? So this too was January 15, 2024. Last May, the head of the World Health Organization said the world must prepare for the next pandemic, which could be even deadlier than COVID-19, emphasizing the need for a pandemic accord. Queen's University law professor Bruce Pardy joined True North's Andrew Lawton to explain how the WHO treaty provides the perfect cover for government to impose heavy-handed measures. Anyways, folks, so as you can see, you can watch that video there. And I got to tell you, Bruce Pardy, mad respect for that gentleman. He's really punched above his weight in terms of holding some of these central planning elitists and, the governments of Canada to account, and trying his best to expand on his knowledge and educate and inform, and really appreciate that. So shout out to you as well, Bruce Pardy. I've actually had some dialogue with him in our exchanges on social media as well. And I got to say, he's doing a great job there. So anyways, I definitely recommend you check that out. All right, now move on. I did want to cover this one up, or cover this one in particular. It's a local story, so it might not be something that everybody will be particularly concerned about, but trust me, it does have an effect on us all, and I wish this gentleman all the best. So this is a former Fredericton firefighter who resigned over COVID vaccine policy. He's suing the city, so he's suing Fredericton. Gregory Billings alleges he was wrongfully advised he would be eligible for severance pension if he quit. This reported by Alden Cox, December 29th, 2023. A former Fredericton firefighter who resigned because of a COVID-19 vaccine policy for city employees is suing his former employer, claiming he was wrongfully advised he'd be entitled to severance pay and pension benefits even if he quits. Gregory Billings is now seeking $280,000 for pay in lieu of notice of termination, as well as damages for loss of pension earnings up to his expected retirement at the age of 65. Billings also alleges the International Association of Firefighters Local 1053, his former union, failed to properly represent him by not grieving his wrongful induced resignation. Oh, they'll all throw you under the bus if you don't go along. I mean, that's what happened during the whole COVID thing. We've seen how that played out. The mob, the masses, the ill-informed, the woefully informed, the propagandized, the people who fell for the rhetoric, they turned on anybody who didn't. So if you were the exception, the outlier, the intelligent person in the room, right, the one questioning any of this shit, you were literally thrown under the bus, or not literally, but proverbially thrown under the bus, right, for even daring to do so. And there's a lot of people who have had to suffer that, and at least this gentleman is looking to get some kind of reprieve or hold people to account in some way, at very least, right? The plaintiff relied on the misrepresentations of the city of Fredericton that retirement was being offered to him and suffered damage as a result through loss of his severance pay and loss of portion of his pension, states the claim. Filed in the Fredericton Court of King's Bench by Jonathan Martin, the lawyer representing Billings. None of the allegations in the lawsuit filed on December 14th had been tested in court, and neither the city nor the union has filed statements of defense. CBC News asked for interviews with the city of Fredericton and the firefighters union. City spokesperson Elizabeth Fraser in an email said the city will not comment on it as a matter before the courts. And CBC News did not receive a response from the union. Anyways, this is, basically a breach of contract also. But to me, I won't waste too much time on this one, but I did just want to point out the fact that, I mean, just the simple fact that we all know that even if he had gotten the vaccine, and the people in his station that did, even they would know. So you could call fucking witnesses. Did it stop you from getting COVID? No. Did it stop you from spreading COVID? No. And there's examples of that can be proven, right? So, I mean, that should be enough to show that the vaccine mandate was a complete and utter fucking farce to begin with, right? So it should give the man at least a leg to stand on. But once again, that's if the people in the court system and the justice system in this country actually give a shit about justice, right? Which I got to tell you, there might be some, but I suggest that they're in the minority and probably not in the higher positions, right? It's based on my, not just personal anecdotal experience, but a lot of knowledge that I've gained and garnered over at least 12, 13, 14 years now, paying astute attention to all this stuff, right? Anyways, I wanted to bring this up too for the main reason why I wanted to bring this up was in case you folks forget, we were told during the whole COVID-19 outbreak, remember how the flu it fucking up and disappeared like a fart in the wind. And it's so funny. Every time I or anyone else would ask, well, how come flu disappeared? The immediate response and answer was, oh, well, because people are wearing masks. It's like, well doesn't coronavirus get spread the exact same way as the flu or the common cold? Yeah. Okay, then. So how in the fuck is it that the common cold and the flu seem to somehow both just magically disappear, but COVID just went on a rampant up and down? There's just constantly didn't seem to get deterred in the slightest bit by the mask wearing. So once again, how can you square that round peg by saying mask prevented flu or colds? And that's the other thing too. People like myself were pointing out, listen, we don't fucking lock down or shut down businesses because people die from the flu. And then you'd even have people say, nobody dies from the flu, or if they do, they're yeah, actually they do. And roughly in around the same type of people who died from COVID-19, in particular, the vulnerable, the aged, and the elderly. And I'm going to get to that point that's actually emphasized in this fucking CBC article, although you got to go down to it. But once again, all this is, as you folks know, to use their own rhetoric to make them look and hopefully feel as stupid as they are, or as much a propagandist as they are. Because like I say, these folks, there's no way they can keep the information that they've been spewing, the contradictory message. There's no way that they could keep that and pretend that it's logical or honest in any way, right? Which is probably why a lot of these people end up on these fucking antidepressants, right? No wonder. It must be hell trying to live in their heads. Anyway, so COVID-19 and flu killed 14 in New Brunswick, 5 young. And that's the other thing. Think about it. And I've said this before. For the first year in particular, or before the vaccines were even available in Canada, and I'm going to say New Brunswick because this is talking about New Brunswick. So let's just deal with New Brunswick. For the longest time, and you folks know because I've got it all, I reported on all of it. It's all in my past live streams and videos. It's undeniable. And like I say, I use their own sources against them. So even they can't deny it. They said it, right? But there was like one death, maybe a couple deaths. Deaths were quite sporadic and rare. It took quite a while just to get up to even a couple hundred in New Brunswick, right? But it seemed like, once again, I don't know the cause and effect correlation, but the reality is, the fact is that, the second year, the third year, when the vaccines were available, that's when I seen the deaths actually start to rise and escalate to get to the point where people were dying in New Brunswick. And yes, they were mostly the old and the elderly and the vulnerable. And even the ones that were young, yes, they were people with massive amounts of comorbidities or compromised immune systems. But once again, why is it that after, when the vaccines were out and started, and didn't take long to get them in the arms of fucking New Brunswickers, a lot of them, like I say, it got to the point where they were 70, 80+% of New Brunswickers in short order were all vaxxed up to the max. Double vaxxed when they had the second one, and all, boosted even further. And yet the numbers just still kept climbing and getting way more than, like I say, for the first year, when, really, that shit should have been when people were most vulnerable, right? people, especially early on in New Brunswick, when people weren't forced to wear masks, when things weren't locked in, that's when you should have seen the outbreaks and the deaths really high and spiking. But nope. It was after all the lockdowns, the protective mechanisms, all that shit. That's when the numbers went up. And like even now in 2024, there's more people fucking dying now in 2024 from COVID-19, which is so unbelievably fucked up, right? I mean, this is a stain in not just the healthcare field, but all these experts and all these people who thought that they were doing the right thing, right? I mean, just think of how much of a stain it is on their reputations and records. But there's more people dying today from the flu, from COVID, and even the fucking flu than there were for the first year in COVID-19. So anyways, 5 young children among more than 100 hospitalized. And that's the other thing with the hospitalized thing. We all know there are lots of hypochondriac fucking parents. Come on, to pretend that, oh, my kid's got to, and especially if you listen to the establishment media, if you listen to the kind of fear mongering and campaigns put forth by these hacks in the established media, yeah, you're probably really, and needlessly so, but unfortunately, parents, if you're a good parent, you want to make sure your kid's not going to die, right? If you've been paying attention to CBC News who said, hey, young kids and teens, they can die from COVID, and your kid gets the sniffles, you're like, oh, fuck, I don't want my child to die, right? So you take them to the hospital. But was there really any genuine potential of that happening? No. It was just that you believed the fucking hype, the bullshit, sensational headlines and tabloid style rhetoric espoused by these hacks in the media. Anyways, COVID-19 activity remains moderate. Flu activity remains elevated. Respiratory Watch report says. So this report by Bobby Jean McKinnon, January 16th, 2024. COVID-19 and the flu have killed at least 14 New Brunswickers in a week and hospitalized at least more than 100 people, including 5 children under 4, the latest figures from a Department of Health show. COVID-19 activity remains moderate, according to the Respiratory Watch report. All indicators remain stable throughout the current reporting period. Influenza activity remains elevated, it says. But anyways, they're saying it's moderate. But it's like, so if it's moderate when more people are dying, see how easy it is to just change things up willy-nilly and get people to think completely different? Because how many people are like me that have videos and live streams that you can back and point out the kind of ridiculousness that they espoused earlier on? Well, I mean, if you watch my stuff, you have it actually at your disposal, at your fingertips. And it's all right there, whether you want to use my YouTube videos or Rumble or Odyssey or, like I say, all kinds of sources out there. But now, see how it's just not a big deal, folks. Not a big deal. But numbers much lower than this caused massive amounts of hype, panic, and the pretense, the auspices of what brought about these mandates and these lockdowns was that whipped up hype and fear, right? Anyways, this is the most important part that I wanted to get to right down here. Let me just read a little bit. Okay. No, that's just saying how many New Brunswickers got their vaccine. So the flu claimed 6 lives between December 31st and January 6th. So think about that. That's 1 week period, folks. December 31st and January 6th. That's a 1 week period. So just the flu claimed 6 lives. Take this example back, like I said, a few years ago, and, even 6 people dying from COVID was enough. Just even to reach 100, I think was the number. To have 100 people, what is it? No, it was just 100 in hospital or intensive care. Not even fucking death, right? But just 100 people. And that was enough to cause a lockdown. And that wasn't even death. But here in this example, they're actually pointing out that in 1 week, just the common flu, right? Which no Canadian that I've ever heard from then until now has ever said, yeah, we should lock down the country or the province, shut down businesses, or mandate anything because of the flu. And of course, we all have known, right, that the flu can kill the aged, the elderly, the vulnerable, the ones with, multiple comorbidities. We've known this for a long time. So this, once again, this is just me using these examples to point out the lies, the rhetoric, and blatant hypocrisy and how they report on things, right? The latest deaths include 1 person aged 45 to 64 and 5 people aged 65 or older, the report shows. 70 people were hospitalized because of the flu. So 70 people alone were hospitalized just because of the flu, and 3 of whom were required intensive care. So, if this was happening during COVID, and it wasn't even just the flu, although COVID didn't turn out to be, really any more severe or detrimental to a lot of people than the flu is, right? I mean, once again, that was the excuse they used to lock us all down and to basically try to destroy our lives at the time, right? But yeah, here, it's just moderate, just normal, right? Among those who hospitalized were 3 children under age 4, according to the report. The others include 3 people aged 20 to 44, 14 to 45, 14 aged 45 to 64, one of whom was admitted to intensive care, and 50 aged 65 or older, 2 of whom require ICU. So once again, by using this stuff where they're talking about, 3 children under the age 4, that if someone's reading that, and because you haven't explained to them that those children, either had comorbidities or what was the underlying reason why these children had to be hospitalized? Was it just parents being overly concerned, but needlessly so, and everything was fine? Be good for you to fucking explain that. Maybe a follow-up would be nice, but no, they love whipping up fucking, people's fear, right? Because fear is how they control you. But yeah, basically, that's pretty much most of what I wanted to cover. Anyways. There was one area, I think it was in this article, but yeah, I've already spent enough time on that. I believe it even says in the article, if you want to go in and confirm that for yourself, it even talks about the people, typically are the ones that are dying. Of course, are the ones that have multiple comorbidities. I mean, come on. Stop playing games, CBC. Stop playing games. Now, here's another one. This was quite disturbing, not just by the fact that, and it's a local thing, it's a New Brunswick story as well, but it also gives us numbers for the national average on this one. And this is the part where I thought, what in the, well, of course, and then you think about it. Well, when you have a system as corrupted as it is, right from the very top on down, it permeates through the whole public sector and even people in the private sector who are forced to pay into these government boondoggles and these socialized systems, right? These Ponzi schemes. Then, of course, it generates the wrong kind of incentive, right? And when you have people like Trudeau and others where they act as if debts and deficits, right? Money just grows on trees, right? No need to worry about these things. The budget will just balance itself, or all these governments, even conservatives or people that claim to be conservative governments, right? Or people that claim to be conservative who are in government and claim we're fiscally responsible, but yet, massive amounts of debts and deficits, right? So, but the fact that, like I say, seemingly almost everyone these days is just like, it's a fast track race to the bottom where everybody's just wanting to game the system. And it's not to suggest that there aren't genuinely disabled people in this country. Of course there are. But I mean, we all live in the real world. We probably all know. I do. Won't fucking say any names, won't drop any names, but I've known people, and I probably will know people in the future who, are on disability, and does it really look like or seem like that they should be? Right? Especially now that you can do disability by just claiming to have mental health issues, right? That's a disability that, just like with my back's sore, really, really hard to diagnose that stuff, right? And a lot of these doctors, which function in a socialist system and are all on the dole themselves, right? Probably not too hard for them. And probably a lot less guilt for them to just say, yeah, well, here, we'll just put you on the dole too. Right? Here you go. We all know this is true anyways, but I mean, let me just read a little bit of this because there's some really disturbing numbers in here. So more than a third of New Brunswickers have a disability. StatsCan Advocate calls for drastic change as NB's disability rate rises 8.6% in 5 years. It's reported by Claire McKenzie, January 16th, 2024. Get off that. Okay. So more than a third of New Brunswickers are living with a disability, according to the latest Statistics Canada data. At 35.3%, it's the second highest rate in Canada. The national average is 27%. So just the first few sentences, the first small paragraph is like, holy fuck. Now that's one area I'm glad where there's some really good information just in that alone, right? But 35, more than a third. So 1 in 3 New Brunswickers, right? Now, of course, that doesn't mean if you got 3 people, it's going to be, oh, one of us. It could be 2 of the next 3, right? But averaged out, 1 in 3 New Brunswickers are on disability. That's not welfare. That's not unemployment, which is a different kind of a thing. That, and even myself, that happens in this province because of the fact that you can't work. If you're in the construction trade, you can't work in the construction trade in the winter. But just think about that. Include welfare, then working for government, right? Getting subsidized by government in some capacity. I mean, just think about it. And I'm probably not even thinking about all the other different ways that you can, get propped up, bailed out, or subsidized in some way, right? By government, right? I mean, how many, or pensions? I mean, New Brunswick, we all know it's a very aged province. A lot of old people in this province. I mean, you don't even need statistics, Canada, or anything like that. See that? Just go for a drive or go travel around and you'll see a lot of old people. And, a lot of those people are on pensions. So if you take pensions, welfare recipients, right, disability claimants, the myriad of all the people who are on the government dole, right, or subsidizing someone, if you take, how many fucking people actually still genuinely work? I mean, are we at 2 and 3? And once again, this goes back to that whole cart and pulling the cart thing. At some point in time, you get to the point where there's just not enough people pulling the cart because everybody's jumped in the fucking cart. Nobody wants to pull because, like, well, hey, fuck, it's better if I can just get back there, let someone else do the job, right? It's that fast track race to the bottom. New Brunswick's disability rate is also increasing faster than anywhere else in the country, rising by 8.6 percentage points between 2017 and 2022. Haley Flero is the executive director of Ability New Brunswick, a nonprofit organization that advocates for people living with a mobility disability. We weren't surprised given the influx in referrals we've seen from people with a mobility disability in the last several years needing services, she said on Information Morning Fredericton. But we're certainly quite concerned because there's some significant impacts here on disability services and disability policy in New Brunswick that are going to require some big attention. Aging population. Flero says among the trends in the Statistics Canada report is the increased disability that accompanies aging. Ensuring access to appropriate rehabilitation and care of independent living and access housing for seniors is really critical. Also concerning, said Flero, is the increase in pain disability diagnosis, accompanied by a long wait for help. We really need some drastic change here, she said. Pain disability in New Brunswick have a 3.5-year wait list for pain management, and that's what we have, between 2.5 to 3.5 years. We really need to turn our minds to some of these policy issues to get them rectified, she said. And then, of course, here we go. Although Ability New Brunswick is focused on mobility disabilities, Flero said there is a clear connection to mental health problems. Between 30 and 35% of the individuals we work with also have a diagnosis of mental health disability, she said. So even a third of that third is now claiming mental health disability. And I'm sure some are, especially after the fucking insanity of the last 3 years. And it was actually forecast and predicted that there would be an increase in mental health issues as a consequence of all the fucking insanity that these big government hacks and these idiots in the media touted, promoted, and put into place, right? Fucking government breaks your leg and hands you a crutch, and the media tries to tell you, oh, it's a good thing government was there. Fucking idiots. Anyways, but I mean, so of course there's going, but are there going to be a substantial or at least some portion of them that are just going to game the system as well? Because, fuck it. Everyone else is. Everyone I look around, like, if you're the 1 in 3 still working, or the 2 and 3, you're like, oh, whatever. Or the 1 in 4, that's the other thing. Across the entire country, remember the number is 27%. That's countrywide. So even though initially it's 35.3% in New Brunswick, it's still 27% for the entire fucking country averaged out. So that's more than 1 in 4. Yeah. At some point in time, you just got to recognize and realize that some people are just going to say, fuck it. I'm not fucking going to be the last guy pulling the fucking wagon. Everyone else is jumping on the wagon. Fuck it. I'm going too. Right. Of course, We all know what that eventually leads to, right? Literally nowhere. Nobody go anywhere. Nobody pulling the wagon. But anyway, so yeah, so there's that. And like I say, I'm just going to get in here and check with a few more comments. I'm not going to keep this live stream too long, folks. Going to kind of get through these rather quick because I think I covered lots of stuff anyways, but just going to check in on the comments here. Oh, you guys have been busy at the comments. Right on. Awesome. Okay. Oh, we got some new guys and gals in the chat. Did I already say hi to Silent? Yes, I did. Hey, Bradley. Not too bad compared to some. I'm not quite sure what that is, but thanks to the live stream. Thanks for joining the live stream, Bradley. Really appreciate that. Oh, we got Paul Peters. Hey, Paul Peters. Hey, guys. Sorry I'm late. Is this the Micro Penis podcast? Yes. You've come to the right place. We love making fun of people with micro penises. And if you happen to be that guy, then, well, we're willing to laugh at your expense. Just kidding. I don't know where that would go. I don't know, maybe a hater. But hey, I accept everyone, all haters. Haters, lovers, and anyone in between. This dude with the glasses, is he the micro penis expert? Oh, that's real funny there, Paul. That's hilarious. But thanks for watching and joining the stream. I really appreciate the view. Why does this dude look like he eats dinner alone at the strip club? Yeah. Boy, my wife would certainly be pissed off if I was doing that. Besides, if this guy knew where he lived, right? And if you live in New Brunswick, right? Like, where are these fucking strip clubs? The closest strip club in New Brunswick to me is like at least 2 hours away. I think Moncton. Although St. John might have them, right? Fredericton doesn't. I don't know. That fucking government city. Like, no, that sounds a little bit too much like fun for people, right? And a lot of those female government workers, like, I don't want my husband at no strip joint, right? So let's get rid of that. but yeah, I eat my dinner alone at the strip club. I mean, I will say, not bad. I'll give you an E for effort there, Paul. You did pretty good. I mean, they weren't like embarrassing insults. They were actually pretty good. Looks like you put a little bit of effort into it. So, like I say, we're going to definitely give you an E for that one. So that was good. But I don't know. Surely there's got to be something you have to do with your life, right? That's more than just coming to a guy that I don't know. That's weird. If you thought the guy that's a weird thing too, right? Well, what would Frieder Young say about Paul Peters coming to this and talking about penises so much and stuff? It's like, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. And I don't judge. To each their own. You do you, man. Other than a cold COVID was horse shit or cow shit. Oh, bullshit. Right. Good one, Silent Walk. Other than a cold COVID was bullshit, never isolated or purified jab. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just going to move to the next one here. I kind of think this guy records his voice and plays it to jerk. That's not bad. That's not bad. They're getting better. You got anything better? You're getting even better. Listen, hey, I'm all for entertainment, even if being entertained, even if it comes at my expense. Although in reality, it's not at my expense. And the reason why that is come on. I've been doing this stuff on the internet, and challenging some very vile, evil, ruthless people and their mindless minions and followers. I've been attacked for I'm going on 15 years straight of being attacked much more ruthlessly and relentlessly, and not even funny. Hey, I'll at least give it that yours are at least funny, right? But it's like, yeah, so kind of built up a little bit of a thick skin over the years. And thanks to them, that's the thing with these fools. They don't realize it's like, you're making me stronger. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Because, yeah, it would really suck if I was so weak that if someone like Paul Peters came on, it's like, oh, okay, guys, I got to shut down the stream because my ego's been tamped down with, and I'm having self-esteem issues. Anyways, continuing on. I'm sure Thomas Malthus is smiling down upon whoever created it. Thomas Malthus. I should know that name. I'm sorry that I don't. But I don't right now, anyways, because there's so much information. Like, hey, David, what's going on? I believe that's David from Texas, if I remember. Nice to see that some of the boys down there in Texas. And I got to say, right, like, I'm not a statist, never played one on TV, but I got to tell you, Greg Abbott and definitely his defiance against Biden and at least trying his best to tamp down on this fucking crazy fucking all the countless immigrants just pouring across the Texas border down there. Like I say, if you're a Texan, you got to be at least very happy to have someone like Gregory Abbott in your corner and at least trying his best to counteract some of this fucking nonsense, right? But yeah, thanks for joining the live stream there, David. Did anybody see the cover of the Economist cover from 2012? 2012. I probably did back in 2012, but I definitely forgot about it at this point in time. Musk nothing more than government puppet. I don't know. I don't think I'd quite go there. Right. I mean, we can all speculate. And that's the other thing. For people that, if you don't know them personally, there's nothing wrong. Like, even myself, there's people that I trust, but I still kind of keep them at an arm's length. And I'm still not going to be foolish enough, right, to maybe put myself in a really, really precarious situation around them. I mean, you definitely got to be wise about things, right? But there's nothing wrong with speculating. I don't really see that myself personally, but to each their own. Gotta love the repetitive emotional propaganda keywords that have lost their effect. Yes, hopefully, like I say, especially now with seeing the not just the speculative support for Trump, but it looks like genuine support for Trump. It looks like, and I mean, they asked the question, it was CNN that asked the question of the Republicans that were going in to vote. Do you believe that the election was stolen from Trump? And what was it, like 6 or 7 out of 10 said, yeah, they actually believe that the election was stolen. So seems like at the very least, more and more Americans, and you got to remember, Trump even lost Iowa in the 2016 run. But to see him win with such a massive amount of support, and like 98 out of 99 counties went for Trump, right? And I mean, that's quite profound. And you got to tell me that's that American spirit. That's the thing that I've always admired greatly so from my American counterparts. And I'm quite envious of them. I wish there are days I wish I had been born on that soil. Now I have a lot, unfortunately, my family, my roots, like a lot of heritage, a lot of history. There's a lot about me and like I say, my family in particular that kind of ties me to this country, right? And I can't help. And I also point out, as I've said in the past, it'd be easy to just go say, I'm just going to seek the comfort of being American, right? But you know what? I'm Canadian. I was born Canadian. And you know what? I'd strive to try to emulate the American experience in Canada. Try to improve our lot to where we're getting closer, aligned to the American ideal, or that exceptionalism in terms of genuinely having a First Amendment and a Second Amendment, right? That kind of stuff. To me, yes, it would be easy, as with a lot of people these days, especially even these migrants. Stop fucking fleeing your own fucking country and going to America. I get how great and awesome America is, but why don't you fucking stay and fight in your own goddamn country? Fight for your own people. Literally, because you got to have family there, right? Why are you abandoning everyone? Has your family sold you up the river that bad that you're willing to abandon every single one of them? That's the other part that I find most disturbing, is it's really, really important, right? It's great to have that beacon of liberty, that basis of liberty in America. I'm so glad that country exists. But yeah, let's strive to maybe emulate that kind of success, or at least gravitate somewhat towards or lean that way in our own fucking backyards instead of fleeing or shying away or cowering from it. That's my thought on these kind of things, right? Anyways, let me get up here. All planned decades ago. Okay, I'm not sure about that one. Okay, I'm just trying to get down here. You're right, Bennett. Judges, cops, lawyers all work together as a criminal cabal. I mean, well, that's the thing. Even myself, when I was going through my own fucking ordeal, and actually there's one thing I want to cover in here, actually, since I'm bringing it up. When I was going through my whole impaired charge ordeal, right, which, with mandatory minimums, they basically take someone like me who had a few beers out on my four-wheeler, on my ATV, in rural New Brunswick on the trails, right? And fucking charge me with impaired. And knowing that I'm a truck driver, that my job is my livelihood, it is my career. And even living in the sticks where, yeah, you have to travel to even go into the closest town, to the grocery stores and things like that. To do anything, you need to travel. So you need your license when you live in rural New Brunswick. The fact that they were willing to use this fucking mandatory minimum bullshit excuse to fuck my life over. And yeah, when you go there, good luck even trying to get a fucking lawyer. Well, that's the thing. They strip you of all your income, your resources, and all that shit. And they basically tie one hand, one foot behind your back, and they tell you to fucking go play basketball with, I don't know, Manu Bowl or something and beat them in a one-on-one. Yeah, good luck, right? Couldn't do that with fucking 2 feet barely and 2 arms. Never mind fucking 1-1. But anyways, but yeah, the whole system is set up. So yeah, the judge, the crown, like everyone is on the dole of big government and propagandized and incentivized to be against you, right? And that's another thing. Actually, I'm not sure if you folks know, but there was actually two men. Actually, I'm going to get to that. So actually talking about this stuff, great. I'm kind of glad this came up because I might have skipped by it because, as you folks know, I haven't talked about my own story in a long time. Why? Because I don't like playing the victim. I don't even perceive myself as a victim. It is what it is. It was what it was. I can't change anything. I've definitely improved my lot. Took me a long time, many, many years to get myself back to the point where I am today. But I'm not just back whole to what I was before they fucked me over. What was that, back in 2012? I'm actually even better off now than I was then. So fuck them all. I will always strive to do better. Yeah, I kind of emulate Trump like that. Yeah, try and knock me down. Oh, I'm going to bounce right the fuck back. And I'm going to bounce back bigger, better, and harder. The greatest of all time. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so let me just show you this. Is this on the screen here? Just make sure. So yeah, so they fucked me out of, and the excuse that I kept hearing from, like I say, whether it's the cops or the judge or the crown or anyone throughout my whole ordeal, right, is, we can't just allow people to drink and drive and they'll kill people. We're doing this to prevent bad things. It's just like fucking all these stupid rules. We're going to do this, right? We're going to fuck you over, which, like I said, I was no threat to no one. A few beer on a fucking four-wheeler that even, like I say, with many more beers than I had in my system at the time, I could rock a wheelie at 80 mile an hour straight as an arrow. That's fact. And yeah, provably so, right? I got lots of witnesses that could tell you that, guaranteed, 100%, right? But the fact that they use that excuse and that fear that, anyone that all they have to do is just use that term. He's impaired, drinking and driving. And they automatically conjures up that thought of, he's going to kill him, family of 4 somewhere, right? But as we're seeing right here, more than 10,000 impaired driving charges laid in Ontario this year, OPP. So all these mandatory minimums fucking over people like myself that didn't cause harm to a goddamn soul. How is that? Is that actually, that's the thing. Even if you're a statist and you believe they're bullshit, well, at the very least, I can point out that it's not working. Decades after decades of mad, that mothers against drunk driving, those feminazi bitches and their fucking male counterparts fucking constantly lobbying government to fuck over men because they hate fucking men, because especially when men drink, maybe they get a little bit more ballsy and maybe don't succumb to the whims or the edicts of the bitches around them or in their life, which really pisses a lot of the women off, right? That's just reality. Sorry, if this makes you uncomfortable, well, if talking about reality makes you uncomfortable, well, then I don't know, go bury your head in the fucking sand somewhere. But that's just the reality. Anyways, but obviously, fucking me over did nothing. You didn't benefit my community. Matter of fact, you caused a detriment to my community because I wasn't here to pay for or to help or subsidize people around here that live as parasites off my productivity. That forced income redistribution that we all currently live under. Didn't help my community, didn't help society, didn't prevent other people. You definitely didn't stop the fucking habitual drunks, the addicts, the ones that don't even have a license and don't give a shit because they're just going to go do what they want to do. Or the ones that, even if they go to jail, they're like, I get 3 meals a day and a warm roof over my head. Maybe people like that. You did nothing by fucking me over by helping anyone in society. So there's just that reality, right? There's just that reality. But then when you talk about that stuff, So, like I said, I won't save too much time, or I won't waste too much time on that because, like I said, I don't even like playing the victim fucking thing card for myself, even though technically I have that right to claim it, but I don't like it. Did a little bit in the past when it was front and center, but like I say, now that's behind me, don't even want to spend much time on it. But then there's this. And this, you got to know that this kind of happens too in this very, very corrupt system. I can't even imagine what this would be like, right? Think about my situation. Yeah, it wasn't great, but a lot better than these gentlemen. So this too, there's a bit of a New Brunswick theme. I get it with this one here, folks. A lot of bad fucking shit happens in this province. You got to point it out, which is why it's really, really important that we take advantage of the demographic shifts, the rather smaller population. Think about the NB Free Province Project in particular, and because a lot of things have to change and shift in this province in particular, not just this province, but the country. But think about this story. I'm not sure if you folks have heard of this one or not, but these two gentlemen, loss and freedom intertwined for two New Brunswick men cleared of 1983 murder. Walter Gillespie and Robert Mailman are left to wonder if they will ever see compensation. So this is reported by the Canadian Press, January 11th, 2024. It has been 1 week since a judge cleared Walter Gillespie of a murder charge that hung over him for half of his 80 years. But as he looked around his dark, cramped apartment in St. John this week, Gillespie said he still feels caged by the legal battle that came to define his life. It just looks like another jail cell, Gillespie said with a chuckle, his eyes sweeping over brown cardboard boxes stacked in a corner and a few clothes hung on pegs by the entrance. Just look at it. Everything's just crowded. You can't move in there. Last Thursday, New Brunswick Court of King's Bench Chief Justice Tracy DeWare acquitted Gillespie and his friend Robert Mailman, 76, of the 1983 murder of George Gilman Lehman in St. John. The pair served lengthy prison sentences after their 1984 conviction, but the federal justice minister last month overturned those convictions after new evidence came to light. DeWare declared their case as a miscarriage of justice. The Canadian Press interviewed Gillespie in his apartment Tuesday while Mailman, who has terminal liver cancer, joined the exchange by phone. Anyways, the very sad stories, but I believe they should. For nearly 4 decades, Gillespie and Mailman single-mindedly worked towards one goal, proving their innocence. Gillespie served 21 years of his life sentence in prison, and Mailman served 18 years. After they were released on parole, the two men would meet up every day at a St. John coffee shop to go over their case. He's very passionate, Gillespie said of his friend. Before he got sick, he used to dig open transcripts 24/7 all the time. Just never gave up on it. But I mean, after 40 fucking years, these people, this is the thing. That's and the main reason why I'm even covering that is the importance of, and it used to be something that was front and center in terms of the justice system in this country, or at least it seemed so when I was younger, was the reason why I have the presumption of innocent until proven guilty, and how the whole beyond a reasonable doubt thing came to exist in terms of, whether someone should be deemed guilty or not is, and there's an expression even, it's best to allow 1,000 guilty men to go free than to convict one innocent man. Think about what that is like, to spend decades of your life behind bars for a crime that you did not commit. I mean, that to destroy your entire life and you're not even guilty. I mean, once again, and that is why the bar, the standard, and that's why this is even tying in with my impaired driving charge. I mean, the bar and the standard for destroying people's lives should be fucking really, really fucking high. And if you can't meet that threshold, then yes, then you should err on the side of caution and freedom. But that's not what we're seeing these days, and it's not what's going to be we're going to see going forward if we don't do our best to try to change things. And yeah, it all has to start local, folks. It has to start in your backyard. But yeah, we're going to get to this because here's another one. This is, and I'm hoping, and I'm just going to point it out right now, if you're a vendor, then let me just tell you, if your business has anything to do with the gun community or gun culture at all, and you become the henchman for the fucking Trudeau fucking regime and do this, well, like I say, well, There will be ramifications going forward. I assure you of that. Not necessarily for me, but like I say, people are fucking fed up with this kind of nonsense because people are starting to see what the hell's going on. Right? And when danger is just around the corner and people are actively seeking out to disarm you, yeah, that's setting bad precedent and leaving a very foul taste in a lot of people's mouths. Feds begin search for vendors to operate firearm confiscation program. The program will collect and eventually destroy over 1,500 firearm models banned under the federal government's May 1st, 2020 order in council. And you got to remember, some of these fucking things are just fucking BB guns, 22, fucking things that just look scary, but aren't no more deadlier than, like I say, the lowliest fucking hunting rifle out there. Matter of fact, some of the hunting rifles that look less scarier, right, are much more deadlier than some of the weapons that are being banned just by the sheer fact of what they look like. So this is, and it has nothing to do with keeping people safe, because as we know, gun owners who have to have a criminal record search done every fucking day are not the ones who are out there using their personal firearms to kill or murder or maim people. No, it's gang members or people who get their guns illegally that are the overwhelming majority or representative of the kind of people who are causing harm or killing or maiming or using weapons towards innocent people. We all know this to be a fact. But anyways, this is reported by Brian Passafume, January 15th, 2024. Ah, shit. Damn it. When I first clicked on this, I did have access to this. But anyways, so yeah, I guess the one thing that I would say about this is, yeah, don't play into their game. Don't be wait a minute. Oh, this is the area here where we're actually, let me bring this up. Don't be the grunts or their order followers for these petty tyrants or control freaks, and in particular the Trudeau liberals. Like, just say no. Just say no. Yeah, actually, so I'm just going to bring this on real quick because I just wanted to, like I say, get it on record. So this was a second opinion. Long-term researchers are still untangling the risk of catching COVID-19 over and over. Long-term toll on individuals' health remains somewhat uncertain. Scientists warned. This was reported by Lauren Pelly, September 30th, 2023. So down here is the part that I just wanted to make sure to get on record and make sure that you folks are aware. Okay. One multi-state study from the U.S. Centers for, so this is the CDC, right? You know, where everybody looks for their information, or all the sheep will do. So that's why this is important, right? Helps, not like we didn't already know this, but for the people, the sheeple that are unsuspecting and trust their thought leaders and their experts. Well, point this out. One multi-state study from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention helps quantify those risks. It showed having at least 4 or more underlying diseases, such as hypertension, heart disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or obesity, puts adults hospitalized with COVID at a higher risk for ICU admission or death, regardless of their vaccination status. So that to me is like I say, the most important thing or takeaway from this, and something that, like I say, is really important because, like I say, I talked about this during the whole COVID thing. But yes, it was predominantly people with multiple comorbidities, or the aged and elderly, or the vulnerable, who were susceptible to hospitalization, or should I say, hospitalization could be just if you're just nervous or concerned, you might just go there. But in particular, ICU or death, being placed in ICU or death, there's predominantly people with a whole bunch of comorbidities, right? And I mean, once again, this should be common knowledge, and it is for people like us, but it sure as shit isn't for most people who just listen to those in the established media. Anyways, going to read about a few more comments that we're at 148. I'll tie this up before the 2-hour mark. So I'm just going to, like I say, read a little bit more down here. I worked in a nursing home for many years, always an increase of deaths due to flu in the winter. Exactly, right? And the fact that was not just downplayed, but basically people were fucking lambasted for even daring saying such a thing during the whole COVID-19 breakout, right? Or outbreak, I should say. The medical propaganda It's oh wait, sorry, you gotta put it on it. The medical propaganda is so old, I can't even talk to people that still believe in it. We have nothing in common, right? I hear you, David. It's kind of crazy, and those people that still fall for it, I get it, and some of them, yeah, maybe it's just not worth the time. Maybe it's just wise for you to yeah save your own sandy and just walk away. But I will just say for anyone, even if they're like even possible, even if there's the slightest potential that you think that you can help properly inform them or they'll come around. Like I say, it's probably not a bad idea to try. But once again, yeah, you do your thing. I understand. Don't waste too much of your time. Well, that's what happens every day. People dying by their own decisions, right? And that's a true statement. And that's the thing. But they use these excuses as a means to propagandize, misrepresent, what's taking place around the world. That's a sad reality. Yeah, the mask thing. Well, for me, and like I say, you don't even have to go by my word for it. Just go back to my very first COVID related video, and you'll see the one thing that it really piqued my interest. Like, I smell sense a propaganda campaign taking place, and it was how the Canadian media was representing the trying to pretend that Canada was doing so much better than the US in terms of how many people at that time. And this was earlier on when the numbers were very, 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 very small, right? I'm talking really earlier on. I think when I figured it was like at that time, it was like 0.00. So the tenths, hundred, I think it was into the thousands of a 1 percentage point in terms of how many people even had COVID at that time. But I remember if you worked it out to per capita based on our population, right? Because Canada has less than 10th of the population in the US, or roughly in around a 10th of the population, right? All you had to do is work that out to the size of your population. I was like, wait a minute, we're actually doing roughly in around the same. It was a rounding error in terms of, so let's say it was 10 in Canada and 100 in the US. Well, 10 in Canada would be the same as 100 in the US because the population is 10 times more in the US. So adjusted for the population size, it would have been the same. And I noticed that early on. I was like, okay, so why are you pretending? And why is it the way the rhetoric you're espousing in your article is suggesting that Canada's doing awesome and the US are just, fucking doing terrible? That was the first sign. It's like, okay, yeah, there's a propaganda campaign about ready to take place here, right? And, yeah, little pat on the back. Same for you. Give yourself a little pat on the back. Yeah, we were right all along, right? It's good. It's good to be right. It's good to be right. Yeah, good point. Good point, Silent Walk. People had 6 months before the vaccines came out to look into it. So, yeah, you can claim ignorance for the first couple of weeks, maybe even the first month. But, as Silent Walk's pointing out, at some point in time, that personal responsibility of properly educate and inform yourself. Like I say, it's not like the information wasn't out there. Not like we don't live in the information age, right? Anyways, thanks, Silent Walk. Really appreciate that. And like I say, I'm just getting down the bottom here. Paul is projecting. Yeah. I mean, come on. That's not actually that unusual, is it, Northbound, right? Like, I mean, if you listen to the hacks in the established media, the so-called experts, right? The ruling class, the establishment elite, right? This kind of rhetoric and things they espouse or the things they accuse other of. That's what I noticed right early on as well. Is like, damn, they're just projecting. It's a nonstop. So if you really want to know what's going on in their own mind, in their lives, and the kind of people that surround themselves, listen intently, because just like North Love is pointing out, they're projecting. But yeah. Like I say, I don't care about that stuff. I bet Paul likes to tell women he's a lesbian with a gorgeous clitoris. That's a good one too, North Love. That's a good one. Like I say, I don't let stuff like that bother me. And it's a sad thing, actually, that apparently he just gave up entirely. I thought he was doing pretty good, anyways. But I guess, yeah, he killed him with kindness. Oh, wait a minute. It's animated a bit, but yeah. Oh, you must be talking about something else. I hope it's not my stream, anyways. But what people say in the chats generally says a lot about them. That's true. That's true, Sunwalk. That's true. That is true. Good point. Anyways, last comment, folks. I don't think the Mexicans are fleeing their country because they believe in American values. They're economic migrants. They want the money. Most Mexicans I know want the U.S. to end. Yeah. Oh, for sure, money, for sure, and remittance. We know that's a big thing for sure, and you're absolutely right on that Gato, for sure, man. For sure, man. But anyways, like I said, thanks for all you folks that did join the stream. Really appreciate it. Probably be doing another one. They just give me a couple days. I'm going to put some stuff together, right? And I don't know. I'll just put this out there, and maybe you folks can let me know even at the end of this stream, maybe in a follow-up comment on the video itself, because I won't see it here as a live chat. But are you folks interested at all in me covering, the whole Trump thing? Although I will point this out, even if I do and got heavy into it between now and when construction season ramps back up, at best I might be able to do one on the weekend, for those summer months. So it will definitely be great. But I mean, between now and then, if you guys are concerned, even though I am the Canadian Libertarian, but even at least once in a while, just kind of keeping our pulse on what's taking place down in the US, or maybe if I should just predominantly focus on Canadian issues, which is, as you folks know, what I primarily do. Anyways, any feedback you want to offer, and anything else, any suggestion you folks got, like I say, you folks are the reason why I do what I do. And I hope my best to try to reach and grow to have a larger audience. So our voices together, can culminate into something that's seems cohesive, shows some genuine unity. Like I say, we have to lead by example, and we're trying our best, and I really appreciate everything you folks do. Anyways, I do see there's one more comment. I'll get to Ian Myers. Hey, Ian, thanks for joining the stream. My 75-year-old father is currently in the hospital. They're pushing the COVID stuff again in the hospital. Well, sorry to hear about that there, Ian Myers. I wish your 75-year-old father the best and hope he does well and gets out of the hospital and gets to come home and spend time with you and the family. I'm hoping the best for you. And actually, I'll try to remember to put your dad in my prayers there, Ian. So thanks a lot. And like I said, and Ian's basically saying the same thing, although you probably see that anyways. But yeah, thanks for all you folks, or Silent Walk, sorry. But thanks for all you folks. Wish you all a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next live stream. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.